He like has to run into the jungle, and he just like puts a bunch of these little artifacts into like a little satchel, and he has to run into the jungle. And then, you know, the tunnel rats, right? They had all those tunnels underneath Vietnam.
Oh yeah.
So he has to scramble through those and have a gunfight, maybe kill a couple of people. That's another thing we didn't mention in Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I think he kills one guy. We need to get Indiana Jones murdering motherfuckers again. And since it's Vietnam, there's machine guns and bombs and mortars and Agent Orange.
Weapons are not hard to come by at this time.
No.
He's finding weapons everywhere.
And of course, he could still have his little whip and stuff, which is cool. It's cute, but I think we need to have him wielding some machine guns.
So you're kind of going full. Was it just called Rambo? The Rambo movie, the last Rambo movie, where he's just fucking slaughtering people.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, we don't have to get graphic, but like, you know, in the Indiana Jones movies, there's not really blood, but you see like little squibs, kind of like.
Yeah. No, I got you.
Yeah.
He kills a lot of motherfuckers in the first movie, and then in Crystal Skull, he doesn't kill anyone. Yeah. You're still going PG-13. You're not going crazy.
Yeah. We're not going like hardcore NC-17, even though he's injecting his cock. We could do that with like, you know how he puts on the hat,
fun angles and shit like
that.
Yeah,
he puts on the hat and it's a silhouette against the wall. Well, he can inject his cock and it's silhouette against the wall.
You see a silhouette boner. I think you'd still get the R rating for a silhouette boner.
Oh, goddamn ratings board, MPAA. Can't let anything fun happen. Well, but I do think that would be a really fun way to open up.
The tunnel rats idea is great.
And then, okay, so he like escapes, and the whole idea is like he gets to where the Americans are, but they're shooting at him too because they don't know who he is. He's like, I'm an American, you know. And he has like one artifact left that he saves. And then, of course, like the Agent Orange, you know, they blow up the whole jungle, and you could do a similar thing where he's like silhouetted against the fucking wall of fire, and he's holding this one little artifact that he saved, and he's like, man, the only thing I fear more than snakes is death.
Yeah, right. I don't want to fucking. God, I had the option to see everything, know everything, but what I don't know still is where do I go when I die? It's like the Ark of the Covenant's real. Like he essentially, he's a historian. He definitely follows a lot of scientific things, but this guy's almost come face to face with God. He, for all intents and purposes, this guy should be like a hardcore Christian.
Totally. He proved the existence of God, essentially, in the first one and the third one. But then he also proved the existence of, like, heart-ripping, demonic, a priest, whatever, the Molaram. So what is that?
And aliens.
And aliens.
And
so
at this point, aliens.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's all clashing.
Well, so for the MacGuffin in this one, I would do, because there's the King Solomon has so many interesting things about him between like all the little artifacts that, like, there's the ring, there's the Key of Solomon, there's his mines, and you can even make like a little stupid what's his name, Alan Quatermain joke, because in the world of Indiana Jones, hey, the book exists, Alan Quatermain, you know, the King Solomon's Mine, so he's like, I'm not Alan Quatermain, you know, some stupid shit like that. My friend Matt Mangiarides, producer of the Last Drive-In with Bob Briggs, we were talking once about Indiana Jones, and he said that he thinks that the villain should be like the Fourth Reich or the underground Nazis who want to rise up again and become the Fourth Reich.
Right, and in the original script for what is it, City of Gods or whatever it was called, in the Crystal Skull original script, there is a ton of Nazi stuff. It like plays that Nazi card in a big way. Whereas the actual movie didn't play the Nazi card. Like, it didn't play it at like that.
Those are his greatest enemies.
Yeah, my question, though, is, I don't know how far you want to go with this, but what is, like, with the Ring of Solomon, what's his point? What is he trying to... So the Nazis are trying to get it, but what are they trying to get it for? What's the
world
actual,
domination?
like,
I mean,
purpose?
The here in this article that I have about the Ring of Solomon... basically, it says that you could control demons, you could control the wind, you could control animals, you could speak to animals. I mean, so say that this underground Nazi sect, the Fourth Reich, has this Ring of Solomon, they could fucking take over the goddamn world.
As I'm hearing this, I'm instantly going, how are they... Where I think this movie is going to end is the Nazis get it, and then they all die from it, just like the other one. So you have to find a different way to end it than...
Yeah, that I haven't really gotten to.
That's okay.
The end, I really have no fucking clue. Like, all I know is that I want, in between the adventure from Vietnam to Jerusalem, I want Indiana Jones in the goddamn snow. I want him cold. This is like the end of his life.
I was going to say the same thing. That's how, like, I don't have a pitch like you have. You have a much better pitch, but one of the things I know I want, fucking snow. I want some snow, man. I live in Minnesota. I live in the snow. I want Indy, like, in a Hoth setting. Wouldn't that be awesome? For us as an audience seeing Harrison Ford, I mean, who knows? Like, we don't know if it is going to be Harrison Ford, obviously. As you're writing this, you're like, time could be up. But how great would it be to see old man Harrison Ford in the snow?
Freezing his balls off.
Just
miserable on one last adventure. And then the other thing is, like, so there's always some sort of a force of nature, like an animal or an insect that fucks with Indiana Jones. He's got to fight some wolves. He's got to fight some rabid, ravenous wolves who want to eat his ass.
Yeah, I like the wolves, and the reason why I like the wolves idea is because, if you tell me wolves 10 years ago, I would have been like, that's stupid. Like, wolves aren't really that vicious. But then I've seen movies since where wolves have been done so well. Because to me, because I thought the same thing. I was like, what's the force of nature that I want to see Indy up against? Like, what's the thing? Bears.
Yeah!
Indy versus bears.
Wolves and bears.
Well, let's put it all together. Wolves and bears. I don't know how, but I want, like, I don't know. So I saw that, what was that Natalie Portman science fiction picture? Annihilation.
Yeah.
In Annihilation, there's that weird monster bear thing.
I love that.
I was like, what if for some reason Indy has to fight like a bear, but it's like some sort of Indiana Jones demon bear. There's like we work religion into, because that's the thing that I really want in mine is religion. I'll let you finish your pitch before I get into mine.
Well, the only thing that I really have left is that in the snow, I would want some old school late 1960s shitty-ass rinky-dink snowmobiles. So we have this high-speed snowmobile chase through this mountainous area where there's wolves snapping at his ass and Nazis snapping at his ass and bears snapping at his ass. He's freezing his dick off, and he's like, just kill me. He almost wants to give up.
And that could honestly be an arc to the whole, the arc of the movie is him kind of knowing he's coming to the end and being like, oh, do I even want to be on this adventure? And not he has to, because it's Indy. He's not going to give up.
Right.
And he knows that. And the joke kind of is the whole time he's like, one more spot. One more spot. One more spot. All right, we're going to Egypt. Okay, we're going to Egypt.
Hold on, I just got a note from George Lucas. He wants a baby bear cub to swallow the Ring of Solomon. And so Indy has to carry it around and wait for it to shit out.
Take a shit. He's got to dig through the shit.
So this whole movie, he's going to have like this cute bear cub where he's like saving the bear cub. So instead of Short Round or Sala, his sidekick in this is a little baby bear cub. And it has to be subtitled.
Well, and Mikey is handing me a piece of paper right now. Look, it's a memo from George Lucas. It says, all it says is subtitled penguins. What subtitled penguins?
Fuck! he got it right with the snow.
He did. He got it right with the snow.
There's also another note from Spielberg. He likes it, but he wants more relatives. He really wants Indiana Jones's long lost half brother, who would be Tom Selleck, obviously, to be a Nazi.
Right, of course, yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's not a bad note, Spielberg. I think we could work with that.
We can make that work, for sure. For sure. Yeah,
and Disney wants to shoot it all on green screen and have Harrison Ford and Tom Selleck alone, and every single character is CGI, except for them.
Everything. Just the two of them. They're the only two actual things in the movie. The rest is CGI. Except for one cameo from the voiceover talent of Sean Connery in CGI.
Yes.
They've got to do that, too. They've got to do that.
And they also, there's a note from the studio, they want a LaBeef cameo, but it has to be kind of the same where Indiana Jones just looks at a picture and he's like, my poor kid died of dysentery in South Africa.
Dysentery. From dysentery Vietnam. He was killed by the Vietnamese.
Swinging through the jungle. All right, so that's my...
He smelled the napalm in the morning and got too close. Yeah, so I'm pretty much on the same. Like, I actually agree with you on a lot of this. My only big difference was I was thinking Nazis too. I went, why not? Because I read the Darabont script and I'm like, I like that so much more. I just love that idea of like the movie starts out about this, like, what do you call it? The Red Scare or whatever. And the Russians, he thinks the Russians are coming, the Soviets are coming to, they basically blame him for being a Soviet spy, and then he's in this whole thing, and then turns out the Nazis are a big part of it too, and it's just a mess of things, and he sticks by America through the whole thing. Like, that script is very pro-America, which I like a lot. But I loved I grew up religious. The Good Exorcist, if you've seen it, like, there's a lot of religion in that movie. I went to school thinking I was going to be a pastor. I loved the religious element of Indiana Jones. Like, that's one of the coolest parts about that is it takes, like, it's like God exists in that world. And same with the third one. And I think with this one, since we've had the fourth one, with the fifth one, we've got to get back to it. We got to go, it's religion, whatever the second one was. It's kind of just a mess of crazy ideas. I love it, but it's a mess of crazy ideas. The third one's religion again, and then aliens. This one needs to get back to religion, but what if it went towards stuff that's not necessarily in the Bible? So, and this is an idea that actually is what I'm writing my script for the second Good Exorcist movie based on, and that's the daughters of Lilith. So Lilith was Adam's first wife that she rejected Adam. God was like, this is your wife. She needs to be dominant to you, or you are dominant to her. And she was like, fuck this guy. I don't even like this guy, and left. And God, like, cast her out. And that's what the witches of, like, the Salem witch trials and stuff, they would call them the daughters of Lilith. Like, you're a daughter of Lilith. You're a witch. And to me, there's something in that just fascinates me. Like, taking something as folklory as the Bible and taking a story that just isn't being told and being able to explain where it came from and tell the audience, like, this is kind of another truth in there that we just don't talk about from New and Old Testament. And to me, that would be fun, because then Indy gets to explain stuff to the audience that they don't know. Like, with Raiders of the Lost Ark, a lot of people knew people know what the Ark of the Covenant is. That's cool. This one, we get to get into things that are in folklore of Christian religion that kind of get forgotten or kind of get pushed aside or were lost in what the Catholic Church wanted to show at the time. To me, that's fun. Like, that's interesting.
And then we can end the whole movie on Indiana Jones with his lesbian granddaughter at the Lilith Fair.
Exactly what I want.
Just
I want
enjoying some good old-fashioned folk music with the girls.
Yeah, exactly.
He's an ancient piece of shit. And he has one eye, whatever, and he's just like, oh, this is so good. This is the end. All my adventures lead to here, the Lilith Fair with Ani DeFranco.
I'm 100% in, man. I'm 100% in. And then really, I just was like, the way I write movies, when I sit down to write a screenplay, I just come up with things I want to see and then build a story around that. I have an ending and a beginning, and I'm like, what are the things that can fall in between? And that's where bears came in, snow came in. I had things I was just like, I want to see Indy in this. I want to see Indy in the snow. I want to see. When you said Indy on snowmobiles, I was like, shit, that's perfect. Like, that's exactly right.
So what are we gonna do if Indiana Jones Part 5 comes out and some of these ideas are in there?
Yeah, there will just be an interview with me being like, well, there wasn't a podcast. I think, Spielberg's off his rocker, but what do I know, right?
I think
that's my Darabont impression.
You know what I think? I think we give it to him. Spielberg, George.
You can have it.
Disney, whoever you're listening, Mickey, you guys can have all of these Indiana Jones ideas. Take them. You know why? Because we want it to be good. And even though we're, who the fuck are we? Indiana Jones in the snow, fighting some wolves and bears with a snowmobile. That's fun. Fighting tunnel rats who have guns and punching them in the mouth and then fucking getting blown up and,
And the
lesbians at the Lilith Fair.
But I think the truth of what we're saying is the fact that